Greetings, chess players. My name is Chris Torres, and this is my daily chess musing for Tuesday, April 27th, 2021. We have made it to the final round of the FIDE Candidates Tournament. Although we know that Nepo won, we will continue analyzing and learning from all these fascinating games. The final round of play featured 3 decisive games. Liren had a beautiful victory over the tournament winner Nepo. MVL finished strong by defeating Wang Hao, and a demoralized Anish Giri lost a long battle to Kiril Alekseenko. Also, in the latest chess news, Wang Hao has stated that he will no longer play professional chess and move on to a less stressful job and hobbies as he is having a few health issues. Although we are sad to see him go, we hope to see him do casual chess in the near future. As I mentioned earlier, Liren put together a masterpiece against Ian Nepomniachtchi. Let's take a closer look at how Liren managed to send the candidate's victor home with a final round loss. Liren kicks things off with 1d4. Ian Nepomniachtchi plays knight f6, 2c4, g6, the king's Indian defense, and Liren plays 3f3. Interesting move. Knight c3 is by far the most popular choice for white, but 3f3, the 4th most commonly played move here, has been played over 8,000 times in high-level games, so it is certainly something black must be prepared to deal with. 3e6. Out of those 8,000 games, e6 has only been played 155 times. Bishop g7 is the most played response to 3f3, having been played nearly 50% of the time this position has been reached in master games. 4e4. So Liren is obviously occupying the center, and black's plan is to control the center indirectly through the use of his pieces. 4c5. Nepo strikes at Ding's center pawn with a non-central pawn to create dark square weaknesses that his soon-to-be fianchettoed bishop can capitalize on. 5d5, then d6. 6 bishop d3. Ding's first move that develops a piece is an exceptionally rare move. The main line here continues. 6 knight c3, bishop g7, and then white can play bishop g5 or knight e2. But back to our actual game. Liren played 6 bishop d3, to which Nepo responded 6 bishop g7. Knight e2, exd5, cxd5, and then knight b to d7. Nepo isn't fazed by his opponent's strange variation and continues to operate on the key dark squares. 9. Knight e to c3. Liren drops an innovation on Nepo. The idea here is that the white knight on e2 is a hard piece to make good use of, so by placing it on c3 it takes the queen's knight's role. So what happens with the queen's knight? Well, it can perhaps move to d2 and then c4. Of course, using 2 early moves on each knight gives black the opportunity to play more assertively. And Nepo plays 9a6, an important move to stop any b5 incursions from white's pieces. 10a4, knight h5. Nepo's dark square dominance continues to grow, and now queen h4 check is a serious threat. 11 castle. Liren purposefully castles right into black's attack. Not only is he showing off a new innovative approach for white in the king's Indian defense, it's seriously spicy. 11 bishop d4 check. And now the newly crowned challenger to Magnus Carlsen is being begged to attack and obliges. 12 king h1. White's king is forced into the corner. It looks as though black is getting close to a checkmate involving bringing his queen to h4. Let's take a closer look. If black plays 12 queen h4, threatening a pretty mate in 1 with knight g3, but white would have queen e1, which defends against the mate and leads to either a trade of queens or a loss of time for black. So queen takes e1, rook takes e1. Knight e5, improving the knight while attacking the bishop. Bishop e2. And castle would result in a roughly even position where, after finishing with the development, I slightly prefer white's piece activity. So instead of queen h4, Nepomniachtchi plays 12 knight e5 to keep his queen and attacking chances. 13 knight e2. Ding Liren wants to get rid of the bishop on d4. If Ding retreats the bishop to e2, then Nepo would have a neat idea involving g5. For example, 13 bishop e2, then g5, helping to guard against an f4 push from white while making room for the queen to possibly go to f6 and then h6. Once the queen is on h6, black will have mating opportunities. But back to our actual game. Ding Liren played 13 knight e2. 13 queen h4. This looks very dangerous for white. 14 knight takes d4, removing the threat of mate 1 because the king can now move to g1. However, black still has several dangerous attacking schemes to choose from. 14 knight takes d3. That was certainly one of black's possible choices. The alternatives were 14 cx d4, king g1, making use of the now available g1 square to step out of the pin. 15 g5 is the most aggressive choice, but knight f4 and castling should also be considered. 16 bishop e2, and even here black has several attacking schemes, including d3, g4, and knight f4. With machine precision, white could escape with an advantage, but these are the positions that a player like Tal would dream of. A tamer possibility would be 14 knight g3 check, king g1, knight takes f1, bishop takes f1, cx d4, queen takes d4, and then castle. Seems roughly even. But Nepomniachtchi chose 14 knight takes d3. So after 14 knight takes d3, white plays queen takes d3, then knight g3 check. With the bishop no longer on d4, this isn't a checkmate, but is still a nice fork built off a pin. 16 king g1, knight takes f1, of course. 17 knight c2. Ding calmly plays knight c2 to take his knight out of the line of fire while defending e1 from black's queen. Knight takes h2. 18 queen e3, a nice move that is preparing to trade queens. And now Ian Nepomniachtchi castles on move 18, which is a mistake. If white plays queen g5, black's knight and queen will have some trouble. To avoid this, black should have played 18 g5, to which white can respond 19 e5. Then king d7, stepping the king out of the file of white's queen and preparing to place the rook from h8 there instead. 20 knight c3, rook e8, queen g5. Removing the queen out of the e-file by setting up a queen trade is white's only real option. 21 queen takes g5, bishop takes g5, rook takes e5, and f3 will be taken by the knight when white retreats the bishop to h4, f4, or d2. For bishop h6, black can also play rook to h5 first. Regardless, the resulting positions are imbalanced, but roughly even. But back to our actual game. Nepo makes a mistake by castling on move 18. 19 queen g5, and Ding Liren capitalizes on his opponent's mistake. After the game, Ian Nepomniachtchi said of queen g5, "I just missed this." 19 knight takes f3 check is likely black's best response here. However, there's a pretty nifty tactic I want to take a look at real fast. After 19 queen g5, black could have tried 19 queen h3, setting up a royal fork if the pawn takes h3. But this fails to rook a3, f6, queen f4, knight takes f3 check, and rook takes f3. But it was still definitely worth looking at. Back to our actual game. Nepo played 19 knight x f3 check, 20 gx f3, queen h3, avoiding the bad trade but cost time. 21 bishop f4, and that time is just what Ding Liren needs to get his pieces into the game and win. 21 queen takes f3, 22 knight d2. Developing a knight with a threat is still a solid strategy even on move 22. 22 f6, defending against the threat of queen f6, followed by bishop to h6. 23 queen takes g6 check, hx g6. 24 knight takes f3, bishop g4. And 25 knight d2. White's best strategy is not trading the minor pieces without a very good reason. 25 bishop e2, 26 king f2, bishop d3. 27 knight e1, c4. 28 bishop takes d6, creates a dangerous passed pawn. 28 rook fe8, 29 knight takes d3, cx d3. 30 bishop c7, king f7. 31 rook a3, rook a to c8. 32 d6, pushing the passed pawn to defend the bishop. 32 king e6. 33 rook takes d3, and then placing a rook behind the passed pawn with a capture. 33 king d7. Nepo tries blockading the passed pawn with his king. 34 knight c4, but black's plan will fail due to knight b6 check. So rook takes c7, 35 knight b6 check. Nepo resigns, and the tournament victor gets sent home with a loss. Thank you for joining me to see the conclusion of this epic 406-day tournament. I will be sure to follow up in the coming weeks with some of the early rounds and my favorite positions of the games played. Next, we will eagerly be awaiting the World Chess Championship beginning on November 24th, 2021. I hope you will join me again at that time to review each round and experience the astonishing level of chess excellence we can expect from such high-caliber players. Until then, be sure to check out the Daily Chess Musings Facebook page, follow me on Twitter at Tori's Chess, join our Daily Chess Musings Club on chess.com, and peruse through all of our free chess lessons at dailychessmusings.com. And with that, I bid you adieu until tomorrow. My name is Chris Torres. This has been my Daily Chess Musing. Please remember to like and subscribe.